Good morning. Welcome to Wellspring. Good to see you all here. I love it. Do you know it's August already? August 4th. And hello to those of you on Zoom land. My guess is that Betty's on, so good to see you, Betty. Saw you in Early Birds. So let's start with some announcements first. And Early Birds meets at 9:30 via Zoom, and the link is in the weekly email and on the website. So our speaker for today is Donna Stryker. So good to see her here, and always wonderful to hear her speak. And then next Sunday we have Reverend Sandy and Reverend Kamatara, and finally I will be speaking at the end of August. Our Thursday evening group continues to meet at 7 o'clock, both here and on Zoom. If you want to join that group, get a hold of me or Cleona, and we'll give you the link on how to get on Zoom. Otherwise, we do meet in the social hall for that. The labyrinth is slowly coming along. We still can use more rocks. So as you're taking your late summer vacation and it's actually cool enough to go out to the mountains or whatever, pick up a couple of rocks that 6 to 8 inches in diameter. This would be too big. And bring them in and put them, we just kind of keep them in a neat little pile there on the corner of the pergola. And lastly, our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. We meet Tuesday afternoons at, 4:15. So if you'd like to be included, or you have friends or family who'd like to be included in our prayer work, we have forms in the back of the sanctuary in a little brown box back there. Fill out a form and hand it to me, and I will get it onto the Tuesday prayer list. Again, as I said, we meet at 4:15 on Tuesdays. So you might want to take a moment during that time and just be in the quietness with us as we do that work for our combined community in Las Cruces and the world. So now it's time for our invocation. So as we step into the presence, we know that in this very room, that presence has always been, but we acknowledge that we are a piece and a part of that right here, right now, today. Everyone on Zoom is also a piece and a part of that. As we feel that enveloping us, we know that with it comes our ability to understand who we truly are just a little greater. As we listen to the words of the speaker and the reading and the songs, we just allow that to impact us at the very deepest level and help bring that magnificent being forth for all to see. We give thanks for being here today and for each and every one of us who is participating, knowing that this work we do is holy, this work is sacred, and it lifts the entire cosmos. For that we are also grateful, and so it is. So next we have our Song of Joy. So please stand if you are able and join me, or at least join Barry and Edwin. We have the marvelous duet there as we sing this song that you're all quite familiar with. So let your voices be heard. And this is when you're smiling.
I didn't realize we had this song not too long ago, but I think it's a good choice because it was written in 1928, and it is giving really the basic New Thought principles that were coming to the fore at that time. And so we'll do it. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, so keep on smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. One more time. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, so keep on smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. The whole world smiles with you.
You may be seated. So let us read together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Yes, and our mission: to support individuals' spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation for August: in the midst of the ever-loving Spirit, and affirm that I am destined for spiritual greatness. My very existence uplifts my Wellspring community, my family, my friends, and the entire cosmos. So it is. So now please be seated while we have our guest musician, Mile.
Good morning. Good morning to you all. Thank you for having me. So the song I will share with you here is a song by Terry Wilder, I Choose Joy. But I will open the song with a spiritual called Wade in the Water. So there's some, I don't know if it's a juxtaposition, but the first song, Wade in the Water, begins in the minor key and it goes into the major key. So hope you can hear it and enjoy it. So. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Gods are gonna trouble the water. When the worlds come tumbling down, I choose joy, I choose joy. When the world stops spinning round, I choose joy, I choose joy. When my heart's hard to move, when my music's lost the groove, when I have too much to prove, I choose joy, I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy in this moment right here. I choose joy. I choose joy for the ones that I hold dear. I choose joy. I choose joy to be who I might be, for the light to shine on me, for everybody to be free. I choose joy. I choose joy. Joy, 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 joy. I choose joy. Joy, joy, joy. I choose joy. I choose joy. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Find a stable ground. Peace and love abound. I hear the sweetest sound. The chains have come unbound, and love is all around when I choose joy. Mm, 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 mm. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Oh, gods are gonna trouble the water. Gods are gonna trouble the water. All right, good.
Well, thank you. That was amazing. Or someone just said awesome. Yeah. Just make sure you hear that. Oh, so now it's time for our reading. And I went back to Science of Mind magazine from August of last year. And this is from August 20th. It says, choose your expectations. There's a couple of quotes here from one from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. So that's always good. Yeah. What we outwardly are and what we are to become depends on what we are thinking. For this is the way we are using creative power. And of course, that's from Ernest Holmes. In the movie Good Morning Vietnam, one of the characters falls off his bike and a truck tire is inches from his nose. He tells the Robin Williams character, "My whole life passed before me, and you know what really scared me? It wasn't even interesting." What a sad commentary. In the story of Moses hearing the words, "Take off your shoes, for where you stand is holy ground," some biblical scholars interpret it as wherever we put our feet, our story, the path of our life is holy ground. We even may say our dreams have power because they come from a higher source. In the Talmud, it is written, "For every blade of grass has an angel bending over it, whispering, 'Grow, grow.' You too have an angel whispering over you to grow." We each have a purpose, and there is a power within us that can help us achieve it. Even if we haven't succeeded in the past, we can have a better tomorrow. While we cannot change the past, certainly we can have a better tomorrow. Holmes puts it succinctly. We have the right to choose what we wish to experience. So with that, introducing someone you know and love dearly, So happy when she comes back and speaks to us. Donna Stryker.
Thank you, Edward. He said he's going to turn it. I think I'm on. Good morning. How's everybody today? I missed you guys. Good to see you. Hey, Jean. Nice to see you. Hey, Mom. Hi, sis. Hope you're good. I'm going to talk about you today, just so you know. So, what a week. What a crazy week. My car broke down. My glasses broke. I'm blind. I don't have my glasses. It was all perfect. It's all so perfect. I can't even begin to tell you. So my talk is about great expectations or happiness killers. And I'll expand on that. But I want to read to you from The Art of Forgiveness, Loving Kindness and Peace, which is by Jack Kornfield. And there's a lot of stuff from Buddha in it. And I was a Buddhist, and I love this stuff. Imagine walking along a sidewalk with your arm full of groceries, and someone roughly bumps into you so that you fall, and your groceries are strewn all over the floor. And as you rise up from the puddle of broken eggs and tomato juice, you're about ready to shout, "You idiot! What's wrong with you? Are you blind?" But before you can catch your breath and speak, thank goodness, you see that the person who bumped into you is actually blind. He too is sprawled in the spilled groceries, and your anger vanishes in an instant to be replaced by sympathetic concern. Are you hurt? Can I help you? Our situation is like that. When we clearly realize the source of disharmony and misery in the world is ignorance or expectations, we can open the door to wisdom and compassion and patience. No matter what has happened, we can always return through the greatness of the heart. We have all heard stories about the mystery of the power of compassion and forgiveness in the lives of others. Each time we are inspired by these accounts, we forget that we too can forgive. The other one is very short. If you let go a little, you will have a little happiness. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of happiness. And if you let go completely, you will be free. I just love this book. Of course, I love all my books. So, have you ever made a promise that you didn't keep? Did you ever make a commitment that you could not honor? Did you ever commit yourself? Honey, I'm not talking about me today, just so you know. Did you ever commit yourself in your time and your talents, and then you found you would put yourself in a corner? I never do that, right, babe? Have you ever had someone make you a promise and they broke it? Did you ever have someone make you a commitment and they did not? Oh, I need to talk louder. Thank you, Edwin. And they did not honor their commitment. Why does this happen? I wish that I knew, but I have some thoughts about it. Expectations. We have them of ourselves and we have them of others. Like the blind man, the expectation was not to be bumped into. And your expectation was no one was going to bump into you, and you certainly didn't expect them to be blind. I think we all have expectations of others, but we don't know what they are. And they don't know what they are because we don't talk about it. I believe we have expectations of ourselves, but we don't know how to measure up if we don't bring them to the forefront. So I looked up the definitions of expectations. Oh my gosh. And it amazed me. And in all my spiritual studies, which was about 7 years, because I'm a little bit of a slow learner, it took me a little time, I was going to work all the time, this never came up in my spiritual journey, which was shocking to me. Expectations are an act or state of looking forward or anticipating. Synonyms like trust, hope, anticipation, expecting something to take place, a thing to look forward to, an expectant mental attitude. Expectations are the strong belief that something will happen. Our expectations determine our reality. Think about that. Our expectations determine our reality. Or they can. Our expectations also impact everybody around us. Bless you. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. People may rise or fall depending on our expectations or our beliefs. And this is known as the nocebo effect. Letting your doubts cloud your belief in someone or something practically ensures their failure. And that goes for us too, not just other people. Your expectations can change and bend your reality. This was really exciting for me because I had an expectation that I would have my talk done days ago. I didn't meet that expectation because I had overcommitted once again to things that were important to me, mostly people. And so, like I always do, Spirit, just tell me what the hell I'm supposed to talk about, I'll figure it out. So at 6 a.m. yesterday, when I left the house and left Harry to go help someone in need, I'm driving, I'm like, okay, God, what the heck am I going to do? I got to figure this out. And it just came. The outline, expectations, everything. Vicky, who is going to be on the podium with me today, had contacted me on Friday. This was Saturday. And I texted her and I said, I don't have any idea. So I did text her yesterday and tell her. And then it just flowed. Have you ever had that happen where you know what you want to say? I watched Trish, my friend, on the podium, and she just acted like she hadn't spent whatever time, or if she spent any time just preparing. It just flowed. Have you ever seen that about people? They come up here or they're on the podium someplace and it just flows out of their mouth. And you think, oh, that must have been really hard. And then when you ask them, oh, yeah, no problem. It was a problem for me. I'm just being honest with you. Expectations, they can change your life, emotionally and physically. What is expected shares what happens in your life. An example. Have you ever fallen deeply, deeply in love? Remember the ecstasy, the joy, the beginnings of that relationship? The intense understanding that it is the best thing that has ever happened to you in your whole life. It still is, by the way, babe. I love you. You speak of many things, but do you ever talk about your expectations? You talk about your desires. You talk about your wants. Your needs even. And some people, I suspect, especially if they've been in a previous relationship that didn't work out so good, they may be a little bit more forthcoming about their expectations. But some don't. Because somehow I think, on a purely emotional level, we think because the love is so intense, so much, they'll just figure it out. They'll just figure out what we want and need and desire. What our expectations of them and our relationship is. It's not a great game plan, just in case any of you are thinking about doing that. It doesn't work. Humanness is going to show up in this situation. And then as the years pass and the loved one is not able to read your mind, we become disappointed or angry or hurt. And who let this happen? That would be us. We did. We had great expectations. But we didn't voice them. We didn't write them a note. We didn't say, these are my expectations of you. This is what I expect. I don't think we like that word. No one likes to be saying, well, Barry, I expect you to do a great job today. Of course, he always does. But it's an expectation, and we hate that word. We don't talk about that word. It's like a dirty, really long word. It's not. Expectations are okay. It's going to work out, right? Or, same situation happens in your job, your work, your employees, your families, your employer, your children. Why don't they magically know what to expect from me? And why don't I magically know what to expect from them. So let's get back to us, our expectations of ourselves. Because of our spiritual beliefs, we understand on many different levels that we are responsible for our feelings. You know, that's one thing about Science of Mind. We don't get to blame our parents and our mothers and our fathers and our ex-lovers and boyfriends and girlfriends and all. Yeah, no, that doesn't work in our spiritual belief situation. We actually have to take responsibility because we're responsible for our feelings and our reactions and our own sense of self. Dang, that's hard, huh? Is it still hard for you guys? It's still hard for me. We also understand it's how we view our world. And we experience them, that we process our feelings about just everything, just about everything. Except do we? Do we really process them? Do we really examine those expectations? Maybe you've never done this before or felt this before. But sometimes I don't take responsibility. And I blame others how I feel. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Las Cruces offers every one of us on a very daily basis to work on ourselves, right? By merely driving down the street, down the road, down the highway, and we all know it's not us, it's them. They are making us mad. They are being stupid. They are being reckless. They are the problem. It's not us. Nope, it's not. It's not our fault that they're. It's not our fault that they're being stupid. Which, by the way, is exactly when we're supposed to use our spiritual practices that we've been working on for days, weeks, or years in my case. Donna, that's not fair. Well, okay. Don't you have great expectations when you drive in Las Cruces? That it okay, the other ones, Edward, the other ones. That it could be peaceful and safe and timely. And do the folks around you know that? Apparently not. Well, of course they don't know that. But have you ever noticed that I think they have the same expectations for all of us? Haven't you ever been driving down the road or the street and someone flips you off and you're like, what the heck did I do? You're the problem. Well, maybe you didn't meet their expectations of a peaceful, fun, enjoyable, timely drive. Crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. So let's go back to promises and commitments and overextending. Do we deliberately mean not to keep a promise? Not usually. It just happens, right? Stuff, life. Do we not mean to keep our commitments? Probably not. Do we mean to overcommit and underdeliver and let folks down? And more importantly, let ourselves down? Of course not. Our ability and our capacity to make promises and commitments is huge. Larger for some of us than others, right, Trish? But sometimes our time, our lives, our sense of self, our ability to carry through is not as large as our ability to commit and make promises. Do we mean to hurt others? Absolutely not. Do we mean to hurt ourselves? No. I sincerely believe in my heart it all goes back to expectations that are not fully explored. I think in our spiritual journey, this is somehow an unassigned thing. It's not addressed, or at least for me it wasn't. And I spent a lot of time going through Science of Mind and the classes to become a practitioner. I just don't remember that word. Is there any other practitioners? You've all been through classwork, though. Do you remember that word? I do not remember that word. Okay, I'm just saying. Me, I really didn't ever look before in depth. I do believe with age does come a certain amount of wisdom, and expectations is something to fully explore, to tune in with our spiritual self. At least I'm going to now. So as we go about our life and our work and our play and our relationships with self, spirit, and others, we never think about unexplored expectations. What does that mean exactly? Well, I can't speak for any of you, of course. But I can say for myself that for many years of my life, I just kind of let it all happen. Around me, to me, through me, almost as an observer. And I didn't realize I had expectations for myself. My expectations were not voiced or thought about. And until recently, I didn't figure this out about me. Okay, Donna, you're 69, you're a little slow, you're on the uptake, but I had a great spiritual journey. I continue to have it. I thought I kind of had stuff figured out. I guess I didn't. I'm going to give you an example. Sis, this is for you, okay? Don't be mad at me. My sister, my only sibling, who I believe is listening, is one of my favorite people. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's kind, and she's giving. She takes amazing care of my 91-year-old mother. I realized recently that I had unrealized expectations of my sister. I wanted her to talk to me more, but I didn't voice that. I didn't ask for it. So I did something amazing. I asked for what I wanted. I asked for my expectation. And now every Monday around 3:30 p.m. after she gets off of work, my sister and I talk. And we talk about everything or nothing. We actually share. I actually listen without interrupting, although I'm still working on it, sis. She listens and doesn't interrupt me. And we're up for a conversation. It is so simple and so joyful for me. It made me realize I have had expectations of my sister and I wanted her to call more. But why can't I be the one that calls more? I know this is real brain surgery, I get that, but okay, I'm just sharing my experience. But I had these expectations and I didn't tell her. So, not to put fault, but it lays clearly at my feet, not my sister's. So how can your sisters or your friends or your husband or your loved ones meet my expectations or yours if you don't tell them or voice them or explain what your expectations are? This seems simple, huh? It's like so simple, I can't believe that I never figured this out. So unless you open your mouth and explain your expectations to each other, you're not going to have them met. I'm just saying. My suspicion is not one person in this room, unless they voice their expectations, will ever have them met. Magically, because I don't read minds. Anybody in here read minds? No, I don't. Oh, hey, except for Sharon. Okay, good luck with that. So my sister doesn't actually know she taught me this about voicing my expectations. My sister, several months ago, like October last year, shared a very profound thing with me, very personal and profound between the two of us. And she thought that it would mean that we would talk more. And that's when I realized that she was sharing her expectation with me, and I wasn't listening. Nobody in here does that, right? I thought. Thank you, sis, for the education. Thank you for being my sister and being patient with your older sister as she muddled through this situation. Does this make sense? And what I'm saying makes sense? Okay, back to you and me and us. What about our expectations of ourselves? Do we voice them? Do we imagine them? You mean to ourselves, like, come on, you don't like talk to yourself, do you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I do. I just don't answer yet, so I'm figuring I'm okay. But yes, we have expectations of ourselves. Don't you think that sometimes we're a little hard on ourselves? Don't you think sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves? Do we voice them to ourselves? Do we listen when a loved one says, hey, are you doing okay? You seem stressed, or you seem like you're overdoing it. You're taking on too much. I don't want to see you hurt or disappointed or whatever. Do we listen to them? Or do we poo-poo them? I'm fine. We all know what fine means, right? F, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Remember what fine means. I'm great. It's good. I'm good. Anybody in this audience recognize what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about here? Or we just don't respond and we change the subject. That's a good one. Our expectations of ourselves may be unrealistic. And someone sees that and tries to help us. Do we want their help? Did we ask for their help? No. Do we need their help? Probably. We probably do. I just had a friend, while I was working on this yesterday, I had a friend, Tim, who I work with at Businesses for Safer Las Cruces, and he shared for him, which was a profound truth. And he said he always speaks from the heart. That always works for him. And that was a big reveal for him to share with me. I think we need to speak from the heart to ourselves. And we need to speak to others from the heart and to share our great expectations, no matter how small or silly or serious. Do you know the story of Great Expectations? About Pip? Charles Dickens. A little dark, a little bit dark. But Pip was very poor, very short version, came into a lot of money, became a gentleman, lost it all, and found true love. Great Expectations. So I said, Great Expectations and happiness killers. It's the same thing. Life should be fair. That's the expectation. It's not. Bad things happen to good people. All the time, for no reason. Expecting you will never have to deal with hardships or difficulties and that you can't cope when they come is denying the human experience. And what do we say in Science of Mind? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Everyone should like me. They don't, and they won't. Just as you don't like everyone you know. Instead, focus on earning the trust and the respect of people you like. People should agree with me. Yours may not be the only right answer, and being right is not always being right. This wasn't about you, babe. We tend to take others' words and behavior personally when often it's not about them. Most of the time it's about us. We expect them to think and act just like us, and if they don't, we're hurt or angry. People understand what I'm saying. Assumptions, like expectations, can be happiness killers. People won't understand us just because we're talking. Genuinely listening to someone else with empathy creates understanding, while projecting our own mental filters and the worldview onto others generates misunderstandings and hurt feelings. I must always do well. If I do not attain these goals and if I fail to live up to my expectations, I am a miserable failure and I deserve the worst. Well, that kind of thinking is the basis of self-degeneration, self-hatred, and it compromises your self-esteem. You are already enough and are intrinsically worthy, irrespective of your achievements. Things will make me happy. We are poor at predicting what will make us happy in the future. What will make you happiest? This question from the Buddha is difficult to answer. The winning lotto? Getting married? Buying a new car? I want a car, but I don't need a car. It's the treadmill that does not cause happiness as we adapt to our circumstances, which become the new normal. I can change them. There's the one person in the world that you can surely change. Ourselves. And it takes a tremendous amount of effort. The only way that people change is through the desire and the wherewithal to change themselves. We can't and we shouldn't try to change anybody else. The Buddha said, "May I and all beings be filled with loving kindness. May I and all beings be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I and all beings be well in body and mind. May I and all beings be happy and free. I wish for all of you the expectation to be happy and free." Namaste. So would you join me in a affirmative prayer? In this very room, on this sacred soil, everything that can make us happy is within us. God is in, through, and around everything that we are, everything we do, even when we don't understand it and when the expectation is not in line with Spirit. Spirit wants us to be happy and free. We are happy and free. Sometimes we just don't recognize it. And I affirm that for everyone in this room, that His Spirit is in us, through us, and around us, wraps us in the knowledge and the power of the universe, that we open ourselves. We open ourselves gladly and willingly to the fact that our great expectations are not going to be happiness killers. It's going to be what helps us blossom and bloom and enjoy the sunshine of our life. I affirm for everyone in this room that they come in connection with their own expectations, because that's the only ones that we can worry about. I can't worry about the expectations of others. None of us can. But we can affirm that we understand ourselves. We go within, we listen to that still small voice, and remember the truth of our being. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. And I am so grateful for this affirmation in my life, and I hope that you feel that it resonates within you at some level, so that you can experience your own great expectations and live happy and free. And I give great good thanks. And I simply release it into the cosmos. And I know the work is done. And so it is. Thanks. It was fun. It may break. Oh, I'm still on. Edwin.
Thank you. We'll try that again. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far of Him that hails a new creation. Through all the turmoil and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars, I know the truth it liveth. But though the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my innermost calm, while to the truth I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, How can I keep from singing? I lift my eyes, the cloud grows thin. I see the blue above it. And day by day this pathway cleaves, since first I learned to love it. The peace of Christ to make fresh my heart, a fountain ever springing. All things are mine since I am His. How can I keep from singing? The peace of God restores my soul, a fountain ever springing. All joy is mine since I am loved. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
Oh, thank you, Mal. And thank you, Donna. It was wonderful, wonderful. So now it is time for our offering. Edwin, would you mind bringing the offering up? You can go slowly. That's you. He's usually on the camera, so just learning. How we give thanks for these offerings, physical presence, overflowing this basket with love and joy and support from each and every one of our congregation, our community. We take from these offerings, and we distribute some of this to the community around us, to the world. So Edwin, thank you for being of service, for doing that. My gosh, we had a great bunch today working on this celebration, and we are very grateful for all of you being here. We got Barry up here in the front, and Mao, and Edwin, and Brenda, who sits in the back quietly and makes all of the production work. And of course, Donna, again, thank you. So now I think, I forget where we are. I think it's time for the benediction, isn't it? Nope, I missed that. Okay. Well, please join us after the service. What can I say? You know, I've never done this before either. So please join us in the social hall after the service. And those on Zoom, you want to stay around and maybe talk with Donna or something. The mic will be open. And then you can't join us for coffee, but go grab some coffee and know that we're having a good time in the social hall visiting and reaffirming old friendships and so forth. So now it is time for the benediction. And that'll be followed by our congregational song, which is the peace song, which most of you know, but if you don't, it's also on the back of the white handout, and if you don't have that, it's going to be up here. So you got lots of ways you can participate in that. So now let's read together the benediction. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world. And so it is. If you want to stand up around the aisle and hold hands, that'd be wonderful.